Ethan?
5C plus.
Excellent. 5C plus 6L equals 1075. And what about Olivia?
3C plus 4L equals 6.
Excellent. Let's compare our coefficients. What's the coefficients of C?
5 and 3.
5 and 3. What's the coefficients of L? 6 and 4. Is 5 and 3 good? Can we cancel each other out with 5 and 3? What about 6 and 4? So what do we do? Multiply. Multiply what? Multiply what by 2? 4L?
No, 6L.
6L and 5C. You want to multiply this by 2? If you want to just multiply 6L by 2, you got to multiply the whole equation by 2, right? So what would that become? If I'm, yeah?
10C plus 12L.
Why are we multiplying the 6?
I don't know. Jamal told us to.
Jamal, why do you do that?
I don't know.
Okay, is that, so now the coefficients of C are 10 and 3. Coefficients of L are 12 and 4. Can I cancel those out?
No. Don't you have to find a number to multiply 4 by to get to 6?
You
Or
could, but now
maybe I
look,
can get
I've transformed that 6 into a 12.
Yeah, what do you just multiply 3?
Multi
Yeah. You guys said I was wrong.
Yeah, let's multiply the bottom equation by 3. What's 3 times 3C?
Why do we have why?
You'll see. 3 times 3C. 9C. Chill out. 3 times 4L. 3 times 4L. 12L. 3 times 675.
$19.
3 times 6.
$19.45.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I didn't say that.
Okay.
Oh, what? Sorry.
So what did we just do? We just multiplied the top equation by 2 and the bottom equation by 3. And now let's compare. What's the coefficients of C? 10 and 9. Are those going to cancel each other out? What about the coefficients of L? 12 and 12, right? What do I have to do? Add or subtract? Subtract. So 10C minus 9C is 1C, or just C, right? So then, and then 12L minus 12L, that's 0. So now I have C equals 2150 minus 2025. That's right. So how much does a cupcake cost? That's right. Okay. Then how do I figure out how much the lollipop costs? Yeah, in for C. Yeah. Yes. Got it? You sure? Yeah. Yeah, so 5C, but C we now know is 125. So 5 times 125 plus 6L equals 1075. What do I do to solve this for L? What do I need to do first?
5 times 125.
What's 5 times 125?
6.
So 625 plus 6L equals 1075. Now what?
Minus 625 on each side.
Minus 625 on each side.
And 75.
So then we find out 6 lollipops equals 450. And then how do I figure out what 1 lollipop equals?
Divide by 6.
Divide by 6. That's right. 75 cents. Good. All right, so yesterday we talked about adding and subtracting equations together in order to eliminate a variable. Sometimes we don't get lucky and we don't have two numbers in the original equations that are going to cancel each other out like this. In which case we might have to multiply one equation by a number or both equations by a number. So let's see a couple more examples of that. We'll flip to the other side of the paper. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is a little easier because it's just one equation that needs to be multiplied. Let's start by just comparing our coefficients. What's the coefficients before it of the x's? Yeah, just 1 and 4. And what are the coefficients of y? 10 and 5. So again, are 1 and 4 going to cancel each other out? 10 and 5? So what do you think I'm going to need to do? Oh, I could multiply 5 by 2, which means I'd have to multiply the whole equation by 2. So that's one option. I have another option too. Can you think of something else? How would I cancel out my x's?
Divide by 4.
Not divide, yeah, but multiply by 4. Yeah, exactly. You could divide by 4, like you could divide this second equation by 4, but then you'd end up with 5 fourths. So multiplying, you'll always end up with whole numbers. Okay, so I could multiply my second equation by 2, or I could multiply my first equation by 4. I don't have to do both, I just choose one or the other. Okay, so let's look at this one up here. So I'll multiply the second equation by 2. So my first equation stays exactly the same. X plus 10y equals 3. But my second equation, now that I'm multiplying it by 2, and remember I'm multiplying everything in the equation by 2. So 2 times 4x is, yep, 8x. 2 times 5y is, and 2 times 5 is 10. So again, comparing coefficients. Am I going to be able to cancel out my x's? I can cancel my y's. What do I need to do? Add or subtract? Subtract. X minus 8x. Negative 7x. 10y minus 10y. 3 minus 10. Negative 7. So x equals 1. Perfect.
Wait, what?
Where do you need me to go? You sure? Positive? Okay, any questions on that? Does that make sense, you guys? Cool. And then now that I know x is 1, what do I do to find y? Plug it in. Yeah, for x. So I get 1. Stop it, you guys. Cut it out. Or Lancer, you can sit over here. And stop it. So 1 plus 10y equals 3. How do I solve for y? Yep, I already plugged 1 in for x. How do I solve for y? Subtract 1. So 10y equals 3 minus 1 is 2. And then what do I do? Divide by 10, divide by 10. So y equals 0.2. Or if I wanted to write it as a fraction, that's 1/5. Cool? Does that make sense? So sometimes we have to multiply one equation by a number. Sometimes we have to multiply both equations by a number, like we did on the back. And let me just show you really quick. You don't necessarily have to write this down, but just let me show you how I could have chosen to eliminate. So this up here, right, I eliminated my y's first. Instead, I could have eliminated my x's first. And let me show you something else. Instead of just multiplying this by 4, I could choose to multiply it by -4. And watch what happens. So -4 times x is -4x. -4 times 10y is -40y. -4 times 3 is -12. My second equation stays the same. And so why do you think I multiplied by -4 instead of a +4?
So you could add.
So I could add these two together instead of subtract them. It's like doing the exact same work. Just sometimes I think when we subtract the equation, sometimes people forget to do, like, especially if I had a negative number there, minus the negative number, it can get a little wonky. So sometimes it's a good idea to just multiply by a negative number instead. But watch, we're going to come up with the exact same answer, right? Because if I add these, that's going to cancel. -40 plus 5 is -35y equals -12 plus 5 is -7. Divide by -35. Divide by -35. Y equals 7 over 35, which simplifies to 1/5 or 0.2. Same answer. Okay? I'm just showing you there's multiple options to do this. Are you okay? Does it make sense, or do you just feel like it's a lot of work?
That makes sense.
Okay. Any questions?
Why -4 though?
I did
Because
negative.
that's +4, the bottom one is?
So I chose the opposite sign so that I could just add the equations together. Versus if I made this a positive, if I multiplied by a +4, then I'd have to subtract. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of like a preference thing.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions on this, you guys? Okay, let's look at one other example where we have to multiply both equations. So yeah, let's start by just looking at coefficients. What's the coefficients of x? 3 and 2. Stop it. What's the coefficients of y? What? -2 and -5. Okay. 3 and 2 aren't going to cancel. -2 and -5 are not going to cancel.
You could multiply 3 times 4.
What did you say? Multiply what by 2? The top equation or the bottom equation? Bottom? What did you say, Cabrin? Okay. So if I multiply this one by 2, like Keisha said, and you're saying multiply the top one by 4, let's just see what happens here. So if I multiply this top equation by 4, I'm going to get 12x minus 8y equals -28. Okay.
Multiply 2x times 6.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I can do that. So multiply this by 6. So 6 times 2x is 12x. 6 times -5 is -30y. 6 times 10 is 60. That'll work. Because what is going to cancel out there?
12.
The 12s. Exactly. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, what's up?
So basically, you're just
2.
Yes, that's an option.
trying to get the x's and the y's the same number.
Yes.
So
Right. Our goal for elimination is always to eliminate a variable.
So you could do the y's too.
Yeah. So Keisha said to multiply the bottom equation by 2. If we did that, we get 2 times 2x is 4x. 2 times -5y is -10y equals 2 times 10 is 20. What would I multiply my top equation by?
6.
5. Why 5? Because 5 times 3x is 15x. 5 times 2y, or -2y, is -10y. 5 times -7 is -35.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, there's really like infinite possibilities of what we could do. You just kind of, yeah, it helps to know your multiplication tables and know least common multiples. Least common multiples is really what we're looking for. So the least common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10. The least common multiple of 2 and 3 is actually 6, right? I could have multiplied this by 2 and this by 3, and that would have made it smaller numbers, but this works as well, okay? Do you guys want to see more options of what we can multiply by? No? Let's just stick with this. Do you want to solve? So either one is going to come up with the right answer. Which one do you want to look at?
The top one.
Top one? Okay. So am I going to have to add these or subtract these to cancel out a variable? Yeah, and what variable am I canceling out? X. So I subtract here. 12x minus 12x, that's nothing. And this is where it gets a little tricky to subtract, because now we got to do -8y minus -30y. So that's like -8y plus 30y, which is like 30 minus 8. Positive 22.
Oh,
Positive. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? That's why it can sometimes be easier to multiply by a negative number, because then we could just add. But this is fine. -8y minus -30y is -8y plus 30y, right? Which is 22y equals -88. Divide by 22 on both sides. Uh-oh. What does y equal? Perfect. Okay, now how do I solve for x? Yeah, put -4 in for y. And I could plug it in to the top equation, the bottom equation, or I could even plug it into one of these new equations that I made. Doesn't matter. The original ones have smaller numbers, so those will probably be easier to do. So let's pick, I don't know, let's pick the top one. 3x minus 2y equals -7, but I know that y is -4, so 3x minus 2, get out of here, times -4 equals -7. And I've got to solve for x. I got to get the x all by itself. So what do I do? Yeah, -8. So 3x minus -8 equals -7. What happens when we subtract a negative number? Yeah, so 3x plus 8 equals -7. Now what? Good. Subtract 8. So 3x equals -7 minus 8. You borrow $7 and then you borrow $8 more. How many? Huh? -15. And then what? Divide by 3. So x equals -5. Okay, now we got our solution. -5, -4.
The second one's easier.
Yeah, so, okay, so let me just, again, you don't have to write this down. You can just follow along. I'll do it real quick. So my x's wouldn't cancel out here. It's my y's that are going to cancel out. Do I have to add or subtract these together to cancel them out? Subtract. Same sign. So I got to subtract. So 15x minus 4x is 11x. -10y minus -10y is like -10y plus 10y, that's 0. -35 minus 20 is -55. To solve for x, I divide by 11, then x equals -5. and then I plug in -5 for x, so I get 3 times -5 minus 2y equals -7. 3 times -5 is -15 minus 2y equals -7, plus 15, plus 15, -2y equals 8, divide by -2, so y equals -4. It's also, I think, easier when you've seen it a second time. Like a lot of the processes are exactly the same. So once we did it, we already did it once, and then showing you the second time makes it feel a little bit easier. But also, I think you might be right that it was a little bit easier. Probably because we used least common multiple instead of like a bigger number. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it would be 12 if you did 3 and 2 then, or it would be 6x. Because 3.
Yeah, you can multiply the 3x by 2 and the 2x by 3, and you'd end up with 6x. Normal time, 1:20. There's just no homeroom today. So you'll just go to 5th period, and instead of having homeroom, you just have 5th period. And then you go and stay there for just 65 minutes. I should write this on the board. Hold on. So rest of class we're going to use to finish up that elimination assignment. It's the Tuesday assignment if you don't have it yet. And I'd really like it due today. It'd be really, really great if you could turn it in today. But if you need the weekend to finish it, I'll give you the weekend. This is the schedule. So 4 is normal time, 15. Because there's like a spirit week next week.
What's the specific?
Monday, dress up like a grandparent on Monday. And then it's like wear pink or red for Valentine's Day on Tuesday. Wednesday is Comfy Day. Huh? And then I don't know what, do you know what Thursday is?
Yeah.
I thought that was Wednesday. No? Thursday is Comfy Day? Comfy Day wrote it down.
I'll wear pink then.
Oh, I did. Something about homeroom on Wednesday.
Your homeroom has to tell you what it is. That's what I saw in the video. It's like your homeroom votes for what you do? You ask. When do you have questions?
Yep.
Oh. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so you guys got 30 minutes right now to finish up this assignment. Like I said, if you want to take it home over the weekend and finish it up, I'll give you the weekend. But I really would prefer if you turn it in today. And now is your opportunity to ask questions, get help where you need it. So let's start by writing our equation. The first one is your week one. Okay, so x is manicures, y is patient. 19 hours.
Oh my God. Yeah. I was just about to ask something. I'm not going to ask questions.
I did this.
We're erasing you. That doesn't work. Let's try. What?
It's so random. I just don't want So always plays good. Like, we got those two. Now it's saying how many hours would it take to get 7 manicures and 9 feet? Now, can you write 7x plus 9y there? So what we know, is there any way we can get to this combination? From this to I'll be right there.
You're distracting me, Rusty.
Stop distracting me. Rusty.
I'm drawing a little square on my paper.
Never. Sorry, that's 22.5 hours to complete. What the?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so 19 feet.
7 and plus 9x.
Okay, just a sec. Right? Any equation that represents the total time this box. Okay,
It's with 7m and 9f from this, and this, from that, and that.
Huh? Wait, X is facial treatment and Y is manicure?
X is manicure.
Okay, so 14. I tried.
14x
Equals
I gotta go from 14 down to 7. But what's the opposite of
You know that song? You're like, it's stuck in my head. It doesn't even have words. It's playing right now.
Yeah, and all your commissions are down. Yeah, get it up.
It's looking at the bottom.
I know.
You want the other one?
I'm
You're
sorry.
lame. You're lame. You want the other one?
Christy, are you on for D yet?
D on what?
On 5.
Oh, I don't know when. Watching what's wrong.
So,
We just went over this. Sitting on the
I'm gonna apply mod x by 5, despite that negative 10, and then it's gonna be negative 10 to
There's no way to go like that.
That's what she said.
You guys, there's like a whole lot of conversations going on that I don't know that have to do with math. Sorry.
Yeah.
What else have we done? We've multiplied, we've
I didn't go.
We done with ours?
No, bro.
If I add those together, what if I subtract? No, you're gonna subtract this equation from that equation. Here. Remember, elimination. Eliminate a variable.
You trying to drop it? So I should be but like, you have to and then you like.
Oh, did you hear that?
You're supposed to use your core. You're supposed to use your core. Not make your joints rock.
That's what they told me. That's what they told me.
What dance studio did you go to? Well, they're wrong.
Just add them together. Yeah, you add the whole thing together. So 3.7 plus 5. And then 2 plus -5. Or negative.
No, you asking about what is this? Like, this is one way to look at it, like, is that what-
7 manicures, 9 facials. Break down 7 plus 9. Yes. How are you going to get there? Hold on a minute, because I'm in the middle of it. I know. No, you can do. So how am I going to get there from this?
Oh yeah, I totally forgot that. Wait.
Yeah. Or to go from here to this, I have to
What is it?
do the opposite, right? Divide by 2. Right? So 14. Divided by 2. 7. And 9. So then what do you
What? I don't know, bro. I just drew it. I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just drawing it.
we just divided this.
Those are nice,
What's
right?
better than this?
You guys, once again, I'm trying to have a conversation with someone who is a foot away from me, and I cannot hear myself think. Way too loud in here. This assignment, should I just make it due today? Like not give it the weekend?
No,
Then use your time wisely, please. So I'm dividing this in half to here. And what we're gonna think about like
That's not how that works. Yeah.
like if we bought one coffee and one tea at Starbucks and it would cost $5, right? And 2 coffees and 2 tea cost what? Yeah, right? That makes sense. Or 1 French fry and 1 10 French fries, 10 hamburgers cost $50. Then what would 5 French fries, 5
Yeah. I can't do it.
plus 9 is half this. So that means that you take half the amount.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that. Boom.
You gotta find how much the manicures cost and how much the patients are not cost, and how long they take. So you gotta find your value of X and your value of Y. So you got one equation there, write this equation down underneath it.
Like that. Okay.
They have to be a lot.
That's okay?
Yep, like that.
Are those gonna cancel
Like
out?
this, right?
Are these? Are these? So that means neither of those are gonna cancel out. I gotta multiply. What can I multiply one or both equations by?
I can't do that.
Start,
I can do all that.
D. So there's a.
I can't do it.
That's right, you stupid.
That top one, right? Here you go. I'll get you there. Yep,
That's
over
true.
there, there's like all those drawers, there's like lines of paper, and then the bottom drawer, there's like blank.
You start stuff.
Your question?
So.
I can't do that at all.
What's up?
Homework.
Here you go.
No. I understand now.